Welcome back to another Inside the Show. I'm Scuffy, he's Cougs, and we got a special guest today. We got our boy Shelfy joining us on today's episode. And it's quite funny because we got the Met and Philly game in the background right now. So, if there's something that goes interrupted or something goes on with the game, you guys are going to hear about on this podcast. Even though you know the result when you're listening to this tomorrow, don't matter. Don't matter. Just something's going to go on during this game while we're recording. But Shelf, it's good to have you back on the podcast. How's everything going, man?
Great, man. I hope tomorrow morning we have like a Phillies comeback to talk about now that you brought that up. But I'm doing good, man. I've been grinding over here. Games have been a lot of fun for me. I'm excited to dive in, talk to you guys about it. Pumped up.
Yeah.
It's been a fun week. How about you guys? How about what's going on?
A week in, not so bad. I'm telling you. There's a few things that we'll get to that we'll talk about on today's podcast. But I do want to mention, how come the best hitter in MLB right now is Steven Kwan?
Who's seen it coming? Who's seen it coming?
Really? I mean, this dude is going off right now, and that leads into our first conversation. And Cougs, we were discussing this on last podcast where we heard the little brief of the Supercharged, like what it is, but then once it came to fruition on opening day, and not only that, throughout the weekend, I don't know about you, but this might be my favorite addition to DD.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like, this to me is such a cool thing because Scott, this is an idea that's been tossed around for a couple of years now, ever since the Tatis 48-hour boost in MLB 20. This is an idea that people have been tossing around. It's like, okay, well, why don't they just boost
Do
like a
more.
live series card or like do that every once in a while, And finally we're getting it, and it's just as dope as I thought it was going to be. And the thing that's cool is if, you look at all the cards that got supercharged, they brought them all up to like a 90 overall. So like Donaldson and Schwarber and all the guys who got it, they were up to 90 overall. So I'm curious, as the year goes by and as the season continues, are they going to stick with the 90 overall, or are they going to bump it up to match with some of the other cards that are in the meta right now? Are we going to start seeing 95 overall live series cards with the boost when more 95 overalls are coming into the game? Like, there's so much to think about with this, and it makes the game so fresh. And anything that can be done to make live series cards more usable for a longer amount of time is a huge W in my book.
100%. That's why I was just about to say, I hope someone from SDS is at least listening to what you just said, because if it's not already in the books for them to raise the bar later, that's something that I am also very, very interested in. That's actually the one thing that I'm super interested in, because it, like you said, you just pretty much nailed it. It's an awesome add to the game, but what's the lifespan of it? That's the question.
Yeah.
Lifespan.
Like, just imagine an end game lineup with all of these awards cards and signature cards, and then you got, for a couple days, you got live series Teoscar Hernandez just floating around in the outfield with you. Like, stuff like that would be so cool.
Yeah, it's like the second week of September, and you got a bronze Garrett Stubbs that's a 95 overall for a couple of days.
That's so dope.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree.
What I will also love to see is maybe by the end of the year, like once Finest comes out, or when the end of the season happens, bring a Supercharged series to bring those cards that throughout the year that were kind of, I mean, they're all going to be like fan favorites, right? But bring those, like, for me, like the Ian Happ that we just got over the weekend, bring him back at the end of the year. So I have that Supercharged Ian Happ 90 to 90. Maybe they'll even boost him a little bit more to have him in like my end game lineup too, as well, once the season's done.
I like that idea.
So
yeah, that'd be cool.
So throughout, let me ask you, was there a particular card throughout the weekend that was supercharged that you guys have a lot of fun with?
Bobby Witt.
You start, Dan.
Bobby Witt Jr. 100% for me. I think I went like 8 for 11 with him. I started 1 for 4, and then I had like 7 straight hits and a couple of home runs. He was smashing the ball. I mean, we're on like All-Star right now. It's still early game, but smacking the ball with Bobby Witt Jr. before the 90 dropped, the live series.
Yeah, I was using because I did one game with all the guys that got it from the first wave of opening games, and then I did a second one. In the first one, I went 4 for 4 with Seth Beer. That card was just cracked. He was so good. And then the second game, I hit 2 home runs with Schwarber. I hit 2 home runs with I can't remember who it is. It was somebody else. And then I hit 3 home runs with Josh Donaldson. So I honestly liked all
Jeez.
of them.
I know who crushed. I played a guy who had the supercharged Paul Goldschmidt. Destroyed me. Could not get him out. Like 3 doubles. It just wrecked me online.
You know,
No,
you know what's funny is I've played a couple games since the supercharged cards have, gone away and their boost is gone. Some people are still forgetting to take those cards out of their lineup. So
And
they've got
jumping
this
in.
full diamond lineup, and then you just see like Estrada just floating around somewhere on their team, and it's like, oh, you messed up, brother.
Yeah, you hopped on and forgot to
You
swap from last night, sir.
you goofed.
that does. For me personally, I only play them in BR, and let me just say, for the BR aspect of it, to get a bronze player like that in a bronze round, like I had Bobby Witt and Ian Happ 1-2 in my BR lineup. And I didn't realize how much I loved Witt's swing until I used him. So he was great, and Ian Happ I love, and I had the opposite effect with Tyler O'Neill. I did so well before he went supercharged, and then once he went
Uh,
supercharged, I did absolutely nothing.
that sucks. That
But
that that's happened to me with certain cards though. Like, it's not the supercharged thing, but last year the prospect Adley Rushman, he was my favorite catcher for so long, and then the future stars, I couldn't hit anything with him. Like, it's just
yeah,
weird how like sometimes it's different. But another thing with the supercharged cards, like you were saying, is it's not just the fact that they get this boost and you can use them in a ranked lineup. It adds another element to battle royale. You might draft differently in battle royale because you're trying to, get a left fielder for that specific round or whatever it is. But it also affects the market. You can kind of play the market a little bit. If you're watching a game of baseball and you see that, this guy has 2 home runs in this game you're watching, you might think, they might drop a supercharge, especially if he hits a third one. You buy a couple of the cards for a couple hundred stubs. When they go supercharged, their price will go up. You can sell those and flip it. There's so many ways that this adds like dynamic elements to the game. It's just such a cool addition.
Kook's scheming.
I know. Hey
yeah.
man.
Kook's marketplace scheming right now.
Hey,
I'm
we got the Switch now. We got the mobile app. I'm never running out of stubs.
Do you want to go
You're
with
100% right though.
Yeah, Tyler O'Neill went up to like 15K, I believe.
For
I
a
mean, I had
gold.
duplicate of
Man.
that. I was like, okay, that's a good 15K, easy enough.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Switch, have you guys play any more on the Switch yet online? Because I just found out, I had no clue because I didn't see in the settings at first. You could do crossplay off for the Switch. So I'm just saying, it I forgot what we called it with you had the Mickey Mouse runs for Xbox, but I don't even know what you
I think
call it
did we
for
call it
Switch.
Super Mario runs
Yes,
or
Mario runs or something like that.
Oh, that's a great name for it.
But
yeah.
yeah, you could. I played a couple games, and you know what? It's actually been playing quite. I mean, you notice that it's not the best FPS, but it does still play smooth online when you play another Switch player. So I'm just saying, if
Are
you
you
guys are
playing
waiting for some,
are you playing handheld or are you docking it?
it's handheld, but I have a controller.
Okay.
I have a stand for my Switch, so it's still handheld per sway, and then I have a Ryler's controller.
Okay, because
That's
I've been playing it handheld on the couch. I love it. It's one of my favorite ways to play, except I cannot hit. I cannot hit. It's so hard for me to hit with the handheld controls. I
yeah.
don't know what it is.
I can't even
I
like chime in here because I do have it on my Switch downloaded, but I've been doing a pitcher Road to the Show and I haven't even played online yet. I've just been having fun with the Road to the Show. I've been grinding
You're,
XP.
yeah, exactly. You're gonna get the XP from that, so you're
I
still
said I just
technically
been
grinding.
grinding XP.
let me ask you, how much XP do you think you got from just doing that?
Oh, over 100K because I have a third baseman
Holy,
and a pitcher, and I've been grinding both. I don't even have either guy to the major leagues yet, but I've probably gotten close to 100,000 XP.
So you got
now,
a two-way player.
No. I have 2 different players that I'm
Oh,
grinding. I have
okay.
2 different ball
Gotcha.
players. One's a third baseman, just a position player. The other one's just a pitcher.
now,
Gotcha.
do you get limited XP for how long you do for that particular player? Like, do you max out for a player, or do you just
That's a good
continue back?
question. I'm not
I don't
sure.
know.
I'm playing it like 2-3 hours a day right now.
Oh,
From what I understand and from the grinding that I've done with Road to the Show is that you can get XP all day from your Road to the Show,
Yeah.
but you're going to get the most XP when you're grinding out the archetype program because there's so
Mhm.
much XP littered throughout that program that, you play a 6 game Road to the Show series. Sometimes you might walk out of there with 7, 8,000 XP, depending on the
Yep.
missions that you complete. Now, once you max out those archetypes, you're not really getting that extra little XP. So you're starting to see, the 2000s, the
Mhm.
2200 XP per series, which is still great XP. It doesn't take long at all. But if you want to maximize it, you want to be knocking out those archetypes as quick as possible.
oh, for sure. And then we also got new ways to get XP, which easily transitions. We got new programs with the Nike City Connect, where you could get the 7 jerseys, or you could do the mini program for Anthony Rodon and get the new Washington Nationals City Connect. I'm just gonna say that might be one of my favorites. Is that new national one? Like, I know we kind of ranked it either last podcast or podcast before, but that might be in my top 3 right now, is that new Washington Nationals. I'm not even a Nationals fan. I
Yeah, I'm
mean,
looking at
I
it
I
right
would
now.
probably say the same thing for you, Shelf, but still, I kinda dig those unis. But anyway, we get those programs. I believe they're 15 XP
15K
for
a
each
piece. Yeah.
program, 15K each. And then we get to Conquest, which was 30 XP, and then a new showdown as well, which was another 15 XP. They're just from one week to another, they're giving you a lot of XP to deal with, which is cool to see. Be able to keep on unlocking the face of franchise cards. But any of those things you guys started grinding with, I only did the Anthony Rodon one so far, since it's pretty straightforward. I love the PXP addition to these missions instead of like saying you hit 10 home runs or saying it's just straight PXP with Nationals players, Anthony Rendon, and so on.
Yeah, I was just about to say I liked that grind in terms of the XP a little bit more than the first City Connect one that came out, because the first one that came out you had to get 2000 XP with like a bunch of different teams.
Hmm.
Yeah.
With the Nationals one, it was like 5 separate ones, but it was all Nationals related. Like you just had to keep stacking them. It was a little bit
Yeah.
easier. I liked that they did it that way with the Rendon card.
And the fact that the Nationals one, you only needed to get 1500 XP total with the Nationals, where, like you
Mhm.
said, in the actual City Connect program, every team you had to get 2K. So it was just
Yeah.
a little bit cheaper. And I wonder if that's how they're going to go about player programs this year. I wonder if it's going to be like, usually in the player programs, what we've seen is you do like 6 moments and you get to a little over 40 points, and the reward is at 50 points, and then you have to do like either an online mission or something like that, or you do a play versus CPU game on All Star to the team that player's on. I wonder if they're going to change that and maybe give you the player halfway, or maybe like a lower overall version of the player or something, and then you have to get parallel XP to finish the actual player program.
Maybe
That's
it'll
an
be
interesting
like
thought.
a rookie to prime type of thing.
Yeah, or like,
Where
yeah,
little,
like evolution. Yeah.
I've
yeah,
wanted that back
yeah,
for so long.
Yeah,
that'd be a good way to do
they would have to probably do less
it.
player programs if they were going to do it that way, because the amount of player programs we got last year, I don't know if they have the ability to give every single one of those players a lower overall to upgrade to a higher. Like, it seems like a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
true.
players to do that
Yeah,
for. But if they were going to do that, I think that would be a cool thing.
I agree,
Oh, for sure.
100%.
So, I mean, well, no, I'm very curious. Speaking of like player program, we got that, and then they tease Tops Now coming back with a new legend um, player month flashback to Lightning card. It looks like, which we kind of been asking for quite a while now, especially with legends and having player month. But I don't even know what to expect come on that Friday, because we haven't heard anything about player month until we saw it on the schedule.
Mhm.
Um, so hey, I'm trying to think who had a good April with the legends we had, but it could literally be anyone. Anyone you
Yeah,
guys
there's so
kind of
many.
hoping for? Just
I
just
haven't
put
put
out
too
names
much
there.
thought into it. I've just been keeping my eyes on the real life player of the month. I haven't put a ton of thought into the legend. I've been scouring Twitter, but like you
Uh-huh.
said, it's such an open, like there's the criteria leaves so many names out there that it could be.
Yeah, say it's kind of hard to predict because, like, What exactly does the schedule say? Does it say Legend Lightning player? What does it say again? Because I know it's
I
a
believe
part of
it
the
says
Jackie Robinson Day.
I believe it said Legend Lightning player on Jackie Robinson Day and Tops Now players
Legend
arrive with
Lightning player
Legend
reveal.
Lightning player reveal.
Legend
Legend
Lightning player
Lightning
reveal.
player.
So are they doing like it's a former player of the month that we never got a card for? Is that what I'm understanding?
I'm expecting it's one of our legends that maybe had a great month in April. Like, say if Griffey had a great
Yeah.
April month. That's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
If that's what that is, that's sick. That is a sick thing because we've wanted that. We've wanted that, like you said, the legends to be a part of a player of the month at some points. So that if that's what that is, that's dope. I'm
Oh
all
man,
down
it
with
just
that.
leaves us endless programs from the history of time too. It just opens a whole nother vault of guys and a whole tier of cards to use.
I'm literally gonna type into Google right now. MLB best April.
Best April of all time in MLB
Yeah.
history.
Let's see. Best April performances of all time. Who we got? Oh, please. First one I see is Walter Johnson. Don't do that. Just but like, yeah,
No.
1959, Hank Aaron hit 508 in April. Tony Perez
Holy
in
sh
1970. Willie Stargell, Fergie Jenkins, Ricky Henderson, 97, Griffey, Larry Walker. Yeah, I mean, basically all these guys are in the game. So if that's how they're gonna go about it,
Ooh,
that's gonna be sick.
that would be so sick.
I'm
This
all
is
about that.
fire. Yeah, I'm like staring at this list now.
Yeah,
Yep,
plus
we'll
it's
find it.
it's on Jackie Robinson Day too, so there's gonna be even more content. I wonder what they're gonna do for Jackie Robinson Day because I think in the past they've done like a conquest map.
Mhm.
They give you like a bat skin, stuff like that. So that
Yeah, they
I'm
probably
curious.
have some really dope like African American options for this Legend Player of the Month flashback too. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest, we could probably narrow it down a little bit more. Like you said, Hank Aaron,
God, that
Monster
Hank
Hank
Aaron,
Aaron would be nuts.
you kinda
That'd
got me
be
excited
awesome.
for that one.
That would be awesome.
Oh
So,
man.
damn, that's a lot of content. Because today we got the Parallel Paradise event, and it felt like we had an event, a new one just on Friday, right? With
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it
the
was a 3-day event.
Yeah, the
it
events have been.
was. I don't remember
I,
last time we had a 3-day event, and that was for Willie Mays and Don Sutton, if I'm
yeah,
not
I
mistaken.
I can't keep up. Like
Oprah Winfrey with these events. You get an
honestly,
event. You get an event. You get an event.
Now, I didn't take a look into it further, but is there anything different saying Parallel Paradise? Like, do you get more PXP if you use players, or is it just like, hey, you
That
can
was a
use any
question
players
I
you want?
had. Like, do we get boosted parallel
Yeah,
points?
I mean that's a
Like,
good way, like double
does
XP
parallel
event.
4 get boosted points at least? Like
Yeah,
something.
that'd be
yeah.
pretty dope if you ask me.
I agree.
What is interesting though, I'm looking at the Parallel Paradise event right now. It's a 10-day event. I don't see anything about boosted parallel XP odds, but what I do see is that it says it's all about face of the franchise players. So face of the franchise live series, but it says face of the franchise legends plus flashbacks. We don't have any
Okay,
face of the franchise legends in the game right now, right? All the
no,
face of the franchise are just flashbacks. So does that mean within the next few days we're going to get some face of the franchise legend players, or is that just a
like
legend
a
and
cover.
flashback, like just a general statement?
Could
That's
be.
a good question. I mean,
Could be.
I haven't built a lineup. I guess once you build a lineup, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. I jump in there and I see all the face of the franchise players, but I just thought it was interesting that it says face of the franchise legends plus flashbacks.
Yeah. We found out. I kind of now I'm thinking about it, I kind of wish they boosted like PXP. This is like now with them going to just like the XP program, being like the main program, you could easily do WXP weekend. You could do PXP, like double PXP weekend or something like that. I want to see more of that, like how Call of Duty does it, like for the battle pass sometimes or stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool to see, especially if
Creator
we're
codes.
like,
Oh,
I mean, that's a
Shelf,
whole different
speaking my
story.
language, buddy.
Uh, I mean, that'd be great for you guys. Are you kidding me?
Great for you, great for everybody.
Good for
I mean, it'd be for
everyone.
everyone, yeah.
Everyone, I've been plugging them stubs.
That's all you're gonna hear. But yeah, that'd be pretty dope if they ever do that. I mean, especially it like have different wow, it's a tongue twister for me, of course. Parallel paradise events, and you can have like one, two, three, four, like have them quarterly because right now we're working the players that we have, right? And you want to get them parallel to whoever. By the second one, you're going to have a whole different set of players, and then you can have that for the second event and have that boosted PXP. I don't know, just throwing it out there.
That sounds awesome. Anything that
Yeah,
means parallel progress get boosted sounds great to me.
Yep,
yeah,
I'm in.
Especially in waves where you can like get excitement out of it, and I like that.
oh for
All
sure.
about it. Yeah, no,
Now,
it just keep it, just keep elevating everything. Like, like just keep adding on to things. Um, you know, just get they can totally get creative with a lot of this stuff in here. Like you said, just upgrading or boosting parallel XP, whether it's in the event, whether it's just for a weekend, whether limited time, whatever. Just keep all of that stuff fresh, add new things, add new kind of ways to grind. And I think people are going to be happy. It keeps the game fresh because I've talked to a lot of people that feel like this year's game, they just kind of feel like it's not exactly the same as 21, but it's very similar in the process of how everything goes. So if
Mhm.
you start to just, add new types of ways to grind and new ways to do things, like people are going to love that. And you reward people in new ways as well. I think it only benefits everybody.
yeah, I feel like they're slowly progressing to do that. I mean, not with the just having the one program, you pretty much could do anything. You get XP for that, but like you said, just keep on adding that uniqueness and keep on adding on top of that would be great. But geez, I'm looking at the content, how we were saying there's might kind of be overwhelmed with content. We have a lot to talk about with content wise. We got a new big dog pack where we got the Witt Jr., the Prospect Series, be the pretty much the headliner of that pack. And then we got, I think, 5 cards in the base round with Casas, Marte being the Prospect Series, Rookie Year, Houston Streak. I think it's Rookie Minoso, Mini Minoso. I'm not sure. And then
Yeah, they went
breakout.
off the nickname there on that one.
Yep. And then Steve Finley makes his first appearance, and who doesn't love that swing? And then the other cards for the rare, Prime Dunn, Adam Dunn. Perfect time to release him, by the way.
Yes.
And then signature Franco, which kind of, to be honest, I was surprised to see him this because he was the Mets collection last year,
Yes.
right? So we already see him in a pack, so that's kind of cool. He gets backed in easier way, well, kind of easier way to get him. Probably cheaper route. And then we got a new Chase edition with Prospect Series Julio Rodriguez adding to two Pujols, and then we got a new headliner as well. Being, I mean, this was 2019 glitch, whatever you want to call it, with the 91 All Star Kenny Lofton being back. But geez, it's just like there's so much, like so many cards to try out, and the way they started, in my opinion, they started with Face of Franchise being 90 overall, and those being like the cream or crop type tools. You still could plug in pretty much any of these guys that you want to try out and still have a competitive lineup, hands down. And they all bring a different element, I think, to them. Like Finley, you get the center fielder power, right? Kenny Lofton, you get the contact. So I don't know. I like how they're releasing the cards this year than years past.
Yeah,
By
we're getting flooded with packs and events right now.
yeah,
You can also throw the supercharged cards in that conversation in terms of like having
yeah,
all
it's
different
just
options and um just having different, yeah, just options is the word there. So much
Yeah,
to
just
do. The
the
supercharged
lineup.
cards was
Yeah.
huge, man. Huge.
Yeah, the lineup diversity right now is arguably the best it's ever been. And I think part of that, even though I don't like it, I think part of it is the fact that the first 6 face of the franchise packs are non-sellable and random choices. And like that's been one of the biggest things where I say, oh, I don't like that it's non-sell, or I don't like that it's
mm,
random, whatever. People are like, well, it also kind of keeps the game a little bit more fresh because, not everybody's picking the same players, not everybody has the same
Yeah.
team. Um, and that is a counterpoint. So that's another reason why you're seeing even more lineup diversity than others. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think like it seems like they're going to keep doing headliners Tuesdays and Fridays. Everything is just going to stay fresh with this game for at least the first few months. And it's just going to be like teams are going to be changing so much. And you're right, Scuffy, the way they're releasing these cards, the fact that Clemente got released as a collection reward and he's got that high contact, that 80-ish power, like that. This is the perfect time for him to come out. Tony Gwynn, his 93 was I think the Padres collection reward. Like I said, Kenny Lofton, Adam Dunn, perfect time for him to come out because most of the games people are going to be playing are on All-Star. And with his lower contact numbers, he's still going to fit perfectly in a lot of lineups right now. So, all of these guys coming out when they are, it gives me a lot of hope that they're going to keep scaling the content releases in the right way, because that would be huge for the game too. I don't want to be there in August looking at Tony Gwynn as a 7th inning boss. Like I don't want that this year.
Oh, you don't have to worry about it. There's no more inning. I understand.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though.
What is your guys' lineup looking right now between you two? I'm just curious. Like,
Dude, I'm
see
using
how
a lot of
similar-
Kirk Gibson
Like,
and
do-
Chase
do you
Utley.
want Oh, God.
A lot of
We don't
Kirk
have to
Gibson
mention
and
that
that
name right
man
now.
Chase Utley, Scuffy.
I'm gonna sit back and listen to this.
When I tell you that man Chase Utley is just his swing is so fast. He can get to those inside pitches.
Yeah.
He goes the other way well. He gets it down there in that Utley corner. I don't know if you've ever seen City Field. They got this down there in the corner in right field. They call it Utley's corner. Smacks the ball in New York.
Yeah. It's funny because I was saying last podcast with Cougs, Goobs was using him on his 12-0 run. He was just killing with him. Like,
His swing,
easy.
like not all bias aside, he really is super good in the game.
Oh yeah, his swing is just butter. So I would never use him, but it's funny how he's just very good in this game. And all I hear now, especially when streaming wise, I just got an emote of a Phillies hat with Voldemort. So I
that's good.
That's
yes, I love that.
So
I love
can't say
that.
his name, man.
Hey,
But yeah,
Shelf,
I had fun
how
with it.
is Kirk Gibson treating you?
Good, dude. I didn't realize he had like 80 something speed until after I had already put him in the lineup. He moves well too. I thought I was gonna get like old gimpy hobbling around the bases. Kirk Gibson, the man can fly.
Yeah,
He's solid. He's got a good solid swing. He kind of reminds me a little bit of George Brett. I feel like George Brett's always a little bit underrated every year. Swing reminds me of George Brett with a little bit of wheels.
Swing is really nice. I used him in a BR run. I was quite surprised how good he was.
I got lucky opening night. I pulled like every Dodgers diamond except Kershaw, ironically enough. So I was able to do their collection really quick. And then I just immediately tried him out the next day, and I just liked his swing day one.
Yeah, I've been using him a little bit. He's been all right for me. It's weird. I'm pretty sure my batting average with that Troy Gloss card, the Angels collection, I'm pretty sure my batting average is like under 200, but I'm pretty sure my OPS is like in the 1200. It's ridiculous. Like he doesn't hit a lot, but when he does, he makes them count. That Troy Gloss is actually kind of crazy. But yeah, my lineup
last year, I'm pretty sure he had a walk-off home run for me to make World Series in his debut last year.
Yeah,
he was the World Series card. Like I bought him to make World Series, and then I put him in the pack and sold him, and he hit a walk-off.
Damn, it's like Javi Baez for the Tigers. You pick him up, he walks it off in the first game he plays. But yeah, no, my lineup just it's fluctuating. Like I have the collections done, but I don't really care about having like that ultimate top tier God squad right now. I'm just having so much fun. I'm using all the face of the franchise players. Just got the face of the franchise, Corey Seager, and dude, he is everything I wanted him to be. Not great on defense. He's rough out there, but at the plate, he is a force, man. He's so good. Haven't really done well with Chase Utley yet, but I've only played like I think 2 games with him.
It'll come.
I'm loving Frank, obviously. And you know which pitcher has actually been really good for me is the Logan Webb face of the franchise.
Stud.
That card is nice. The pitch mix.
His postseason was really good last year.
Yeah, like the way the ball moves out of his hand. He's nasty. Oh, and best reliever in the game, Gold Blake Trinan.
Really?
I'm
I'm
grinding
getting
with
lit
him in
up this year
Conquest.
with
I
him.
agree.
What'd you say, Scuffy?
I'm getting lit up by Blake this year. Maybe it's
Okay,
just because
but
of BR problem.
there's something in BR right now. The pitching in
Yes,
BR is impossible. Plus,
I
another
guess.
thing we'll talk about later on in this podcast with pitching. It,
Yeah,
it's it's rough over there, man. I would not rely on BR to judge how good some of these pitchers actually
exactly.
are.
Yep. I actually, it's funny because I've been, I played some ranked finally. I think I got like 10 games in that, which is kind of high for me for the first couple of weeks. Because usually I just like grind away from BR. Luis Robert, man, I don't know. I might like him better than Buxton.
Ooh.
I tried both of them out. Buxton's speed and fielding is great, but I don't know, something about Robert's swing I really like. Um, Tommy Edman is as advertised for myself. I've always been a Tommy Edman fan, and his defense is absolutely insane. Made a couple diamonds. I don't know what it is with this year, but making diamond stops do seem a little bit harder. But once you do get one, it's so much more satisfying than previous years. I don't know why that is. I'm trying to think who else.
Wait,
Stroman,
are you
I
talking
did.
about diving stops in the infield?
Yes, in the infield.
Okay, I'm having trouble with that because I just don't like the in-play views for defense. The
Yes.
medium view, I
Yep.
don't like how it's zoomed in. I've been using dynamic, but I'm taking bad
It's hard.
routes left and right. It's
Yep.
I can't figure it out. I don't know what view I should use.
You need the regular medium view back. I
For
believe
real,
they
Is that
man.
said
what is
that
that
was a
what you
bug.
use, Scuff?
I usually use medium,
Yeah.
but I don't use it. I use dynamic because it's the same thing Cougs was having. Because the medium view is not the same as previous years, and I believe they actually said that's a bug. So hopefully they fix that soon. What you use, Shell?
Medium.
Medium as well. Yeah, it's tough, man.
It's tough in these streets.
It
Cold world
is.
out there.
Um, any for levers? Who you guys for levers besides Blake? Because that's like up in the air in my like. You still could use gold players. You could use silver players. I feel like
I've been using Gold Mo.
Mo. Okay,
Seeing a lot of Dibble.
yeah, Dibble. You
Um,
always see.
I like seeing Dibble though. Dibble kind
you
of
know,
stinks.
what lefty I like a lot more than I thought I would was Alvarado from the Rays collection. He's nice, and he's one of those cards that has always been like good on paper for me, but I've never pitched well with him. This year it's different. Something about him this year. I am locking down lefties whenever I bring Alvarado in. He's really good.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm gonna have
because
to keep that
usually
in
his
mind.
control is pretty bad.
hmm Yeah, I don't
So
even know what it is on this card, but either he just I don't know. I just feel like I have the right like sequencing with him this year. I don't know. He works for me really well.
sounds good. Now, how like from playing ranked, what guys rating you at right now? Like, how's the grind going?
I'm 6-0.
6-0. Okay.
I am 17-2 right now, but 3 or 4 of those have been like one inning quits from my opponent. Um Actually one of my losses was a quit because I hopped on I think Sunday morning
Mhm.
because I just wanted to play a game off stream just to kind of like relax while some games were going on TV. Yeah, my guy had like a rally that was started by like a fluke hit from Casey Mize, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna enjoy my Sunday. Turned off the PlayStation. So
Well,
that's so I really only have like one absolute legitimate like 9 inning loss, but yeah, no, it's I think I'm about to be at Hall of Fame finally.
okay. There we go. Yeah, I haven't seen any. Like, I'm going curious. Now, speaking of Hall of Fame, All Star, I feel like the pitch speeds is slower than last year, so I'm very curious on how the pitch speed's going to feel for Hall of Fame or Legend. Um, I haven't really watched that many games on Hall of Fame Legend yet. I haven't got my chance of browse through like with the comp guys because there's already people that made World Series. I think
Oh yeah.
it's
Mhm.
so
I'm
you
gonna
always
look at the
got that.
standings right now. Actually, I think some people might even be in the thousands already. Let me see.
I
That's
heard that the
crazy.
PCI is smaller on Legend this year too.
Well, that's great for me.
That looks like I'll never be playing Legend. Please
Oh yeah,
let us know.
I pulled up the standings, and our boy Kyle is number 3 at a 1,033 rating.
Jeez, good for
Why?
him.
Poor guy. Poor guy. I feel so
How?
Why would you do that to yourself?
He's such a stud.
Yeah, I don't expect to see a legend anytime soon for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Good.
like pace myself. I don't want to get there yet.
Now it's funny that you said there was quit outs, even though, because that's still a discussion even with the innings.
Mhm.
I mean, personally, I mean, I see for content wise, but personally, like if I wasn't content creator and someone quit, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Like,
Yeah, it's a shorter
I
video. The
still
only time I
wish.
don't like it is when it's like the second inning, because then it's like, oh my gosh,
Yes,
I got to play a whole nother
that's what I was
game in
gonna
a
say.
row.
I still wish if someone quit and wasn't doing content and I couldn't use my starter the next time because he quit and he's like down to nothing, I would still be pissed off. So I
That yeah,
still think that's the glaring issue. Is
yeah,
the
that's
Yeah.
a
second.
glaring issue.
I feel like I don't know. I like I can't remember. So like if somebody quits out of a game, does a starter lose no matter how many innings? Doesn't the starter lose like 3/4 of their energy or something like that? I
That's
feel
what
like it
happened to
should
me.
I feel like it should go off pitch count. Like
I
if
agree.
if I throw 8 pitches with Mike Mussina and my guy grounds out 3 times and then quits, why am I now punished because he decided to quit? Now I can't use the pitcher that I want to use.
My
Like that's
virtual card needs 4 days off because his arm
yeah.
threw 8 pitches.
And I'm all for stamina. I think stamina is a good thing so that you're not facing the same pitchers every game. But when you're being screwed out of, like, yeah, you get the win. That's cool. You get the win. But sometimes I want to use a card. Sometimes I
Yeah.
want to try a pitcher. Um, but
And
with the
for
quitting, yeah.
perspective, last year, Justin Verlander's card, I only had him at parallel 3. I had like I think it was 9. It was either 8 or 9 games in a row. He didn't pitch past the third on rage quits.
Yeah.
8 straight games, 3 inning rage quits.
Yeah. Like nobody, and like, when you start getting those pitchers, you might even see this more. People just don't want to face those guys all the time because everybody's using them. Um, but I mean, with quitting in general, there is there I don't think that problem is ever going to be solved as long as there's no penalties. The penalty is you get a loss. And a lot of people
Mhm.
don't care at all about their record.
Yep.
And you can say whatever you want. Oh, it's a ranked mode. It doesn't matter. 99% of the people that play this mode most likely do not care about their record. So unless there is a system in place or some sort of punishment for excessively quitting out of games, then I don't think that issue is ever going to be solved, no matter if they make it an innings requirement or win X amount of games or whatever. I don't think, as long as the game is like it is now and there's no punishments, I don't think that is ever really going to be changed.
I think you're correct, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, like my only thing is just the pitching stamina. That's all.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
That
think
just
I
all
think
that's
the combat on that is pitch counts, doing it off
Yep.
pitch count instead of.
Yep.
But I don't know
I'm
how.
done.
I mean, I don't code, so I don't know how that would work. But I think that's the obvious combat for it. Other than that, it's just you got to deal with it. You take your win and move on. But like Scuffy said, if it wasn't for the stamina, it would be a non-issue. That's the only thing. That
Yeah, and
sucks.
if Mike Mussina, like I said, throws 8 pitches and he loses a little bit of stamina, and maybe depending on how the next game goes with me using him, if he has some rough innings and he has to come out an inning earlier, so be it. I still got the same amount of innings I wanted to pitch with Mike Mussina, but now I have to adjust a little bit, which I think is fine. But I don't agree with being like completely unable to use a card after somebody quits. That actually happened in my Randy Johnson debut. And I get it. It's Randy Johnson in the first week. Like I get it. Nobody wants to face Randy with the lineups right now. But I pitched like 2 or 3 innings with Randy. My guy quit, and I'm like, I'm not using Randy. So I jumped into my next game, and I still used him, and I had to take him out by like the 4th or 5th. But I was like, I'm not gonna use Randy. Like, what do you want me to do? So
Virtual Randy, after 22 pitches, his arm was falling off in that second game.
Randall had no elbow by the time that was over.
Oh man.
But this is a good way to segue into what we actually want to talk about even more, and that's not just like improvements what we see, but what we're currently seeing on the state of the game. Right, we're still seeing freeze offs. Right, it
Yep.
feels like. I'm looking at my timeline, and I'm still seeing freeze offs. I've even seen something similar to where second baseman catches a fly ball in foul territory, freezes. Third baseman tries any try to tag the runner at third, freeze. So it sucks to bring it up again, but it's another thing that we have to bring up, right? Because we're not just going to talk all, uh, just about content. We want to talk about the state of the game as well. And right now, I see a lot of people frustrated. Yet, this is only through social media where we see this, but I mean, they have every right, especially in the beginning of the game, where they might be doing something on the game and then just game freeze offs here and there, and they're just waiting it out.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues personally yet, but I have seen it all over Twitter, just like you said. And
Mhm.
I would say second half of MLB 21, I probably had more freeze offs than I've ever had playing MLB The Show. So I'm definitely not doubting it or surprised by it at all. It definitely needs to be talked about because I think it's the game's biggest issue right now. Turns
Yep.
a lot of people off the game.
Mhm.
If
Yeah,
you don't play the game that much and you hop on and you immediately get no freeze, like you're turning it right back off.
Yeah, and this is we talked about this way before on the podcast, way before this game came out. Um, Freeze offs are the absolute biggest issue that, like you said, Shelf, that will turn people away from this game because this game has had the same issue with freeze offs for years now. Freeze offs were happening back in 18, 17, and every year we find new ways for the game to freeze, and every year we think we have some fixes, and then there's another new way.
Another one.
And
Yeah.
and the thing is they never discussed this leading up to 22. They never talked about freeze offs. We just kind of assumed that they were going to be fixed because I don't know, they never discussed it in any of their streams, at least as far as I know. And you know, the fact that it's already happening in the first week of April or second week of April or whatever, it it bodes real bad for the game because I'm with you, Shelf. I had more freezes during the second half of MLB 21 when I would assume less people are on the game than they are
Yep.
right now.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. I don't really know what to think. And I'm kind of a little bit worried about what this could lead to for the second half of the year. Because if we have another huge freeze off issue like we have, I think that's going to be a really bad thing for the franchise. I think there's going to be a lot of people unhappy that continue to give this game their money only to have it freeze on them when they're trying to just play a ranked game.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm also hearing stuff about freeze offs in co-op. I'm hearing a lot of things about co-op. I haven't done it
I
yet
haven't
this
touched it
year,
yet for that reason.
but yeah, because I originally wanted to throw a co-op tournament where it be something towards that, but I decided to stay away from it.
I feel like there's been
Just
like a universal standoff while it's in a weird state right now across the
yeah.
community.
Which
So yeah,
which honestly, it actually, like, it was a really smart move by SDS to not throw rewards into that mode. Because
yeah,
we're having all of these issues, and just like they said, we want to make sure the mode works before we start having people play for rewards. Like, it's having a lot of issues, so it's frustrating that there is no real reason to play that other than just for a fun time with a friend. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah, we're just gotta hope that this trial and error that it's going through right now has brighter days in the long run because it really is like a high ceiling mode with a lot of
Yeah,
potential.
I think they'll figure it out for the most part. Maybe they have some freeze off issues that are the same freeze off issues that we're seeing now. Similar to you guys, I haven't touched co-op yet, so I don't know exactly what the issues are that people are going through. But this is the first year the mode's been in the game. They have plenty of time to work out the kinks and figure it out, and I think they will for the most part. Because like you said, Dan, I think they see a lot of potential in this mode down the line.
yeah. And hopefully, I feel like if it gets set, co-op in the second half is going to flourish if everything is good because that's when we're in the like
The dog
at the
days.
end of year. Yeah, it's the dog days right there, right? So I could definitely see if hopefully I'm just praying that everything goes smoothly. They figure it out, and by the end of the cycle, that's where we get to see co-op flourish, and we saw different type of things with content tournaments and such, and so on. So
Some end game
um,
tournaments going on
yeah,
co-op would be sick.
I had a good one planned out, but I'm not going to give it away just yet. So maybe down the road I'll give it a little tease. Um, but going into more gripes, I guess I'll get to my biggest one. Um, and of course, we all know me being the BR player I am, but this goes for 3 inning games in general. This is not BR. This is events. This is mini seasons. This is everything. where stamina is just we saw in the tech test, and I mentioned in the tech test where stamina is just different. It's less forgiving. It's very drastic in how quick you lose your stamina within minimal pitches, especially when you have a 3 batter minimum. Like I could pitch to one guy, pitch 5 pitches. I'm in the yellow or red by the second batter, the third batter, and there's nothing I can do about it, right?
Yep.
So right now, BR is the hardest it's ever been. Um Absolutely the hardest it's ever been. And it's funny because it correlates with server issues as well, because luckily I was
Oh yeah,
able
I need to hear this story. I totally forgot about this. I need to hear
Now
this.
I want to hear it. Cougs got
Oh,
excited.
You
Now I
you
want to
don't
hear it.
know about this? Oh my
No.
god,
oh
just
boy.
sit back for a
All
second.
right.
All
So
right, feed it to me.
this was on I think Thursday last week, Thursday or Wednesday last week. I was playing no, this is Wednesday last week. I was playing BR. Had a good run going. I forgot who was in my lineup. I know Ian Happ was there, but good lineup. Do my thing. Multiple comebacks. I mean, multiple comebacks I had to overcome because pitching this freaking mode is the hardest it's ever been. Everyone just hits everything outside the corner, outside the zone. It's just it's ridiculous right now. You need a lot of luck. So luckily I was home for a lot of them and I was able to come back. I had a 5 inning game, I had a 6 inning game where I had to come back multiple times, blew a few staves, keep face there. So yeah, end it all. Get to 10-0. All right, good. Get to 11-0. All right, even better. Want to get any of you want to guess how long it took me to find a game when going 11 when being 11-0 first off? Let me just
I'll
see.
say an
Hold on.
hour.
37 minutes.
Hour and a half, maybe.
Oh my god.
Yeah. To find a game.
90 minutes?
I originally want to get off by I think 11:30, 12 o'clock because I start stream early. I didn't get into my game until like 1:30 ish.
Oh my
So
god.
I had to keep chatting to stay, and it just all. But everyone stayed because they just want to see the game. But I felt that more pressure to me, right?
Yeah, I would have been
It,
ice cold by then. You had a
I,
built-in excuse to lose, though.
yeah,
Wait, so you were getting server issues to where you couldn't find a game, or just the matchmaking wasn't getting you
it
in?
just wouldn't find a game. No
What
server
the
issues.
hell?
Wouldn't find a game. Wouldn't find a game. Took forever. And I found one, and I thought it was a stream sniper. So I was in my lineup, and then I was like, all right, I'm going back out, choose a lefty instead. I back out, choose a lefty. The guy quits out. So I wasn't sure if that was just my mind games playing with me. Anyway, get into the game. All right, 11-0 game. What you expect? Close, sweaty game. He made a terrible route with his center fielder, so I was able to get 2 runs right from the rip. And then it was down. He's home team, by the way. And then he gets 1 run in the second. And then I get no runs in the top third. So it's a 2-1 game. And being the away team in BR and playing it, I think we're at Ship It, even though Ship It doesn't have the best altitude. All right, let's see what happens. Get the first out. Second batter, base hit. Next batter, base hit. First and third. And I'm here like, oh God, I'm about to blow this again. Here's another blown
Sweating.
save. I'm about to do there. Next guy, I'm able to get him swinging, and then he swings at the very first pitch. After that, bam, out number 3, 12-0. But that wasn't the case, because once I get to the 12-0, I just see my chat just flooding. Do not back out. Do not back out. Do not back out. There were server issues. Apparently, the servers went down as I go 12-0. So I'm like, okay, all right, we won't back out. We'll wait until the servers come back, right? And then I'll back out and maybe we'll register the game. Wait until servers come back out. Game did not count whatsoever. And I'm just deflated. I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding. This is just my luck. So all right. But I was like, you know what? I gotta play now because I this is how I'm feeling today. Like I'm playing good. I had to play right now, right? Going to the game off stream, 11-0. I was just terrible. Off my element.
No.
Couldn't do anything. I was like, he was at Camden Yards. I knew it was a newish type of player. It was just me, just like I couldn't do anything. My PCI was just terrible. And I knew I could have won the game. It was just I thought it was best time. I should have waited, but yeah, I lose. But luckily, I was able to get 12-1. I was able to get Vladdy. for the 12 win, which is kind of works out because the 12 win reward is better than the flawless reward currently. Um, so just put that in perspective.
Yeah, those flawless rewards are questionable.
Dang, so
Yeah,
you waited
but
an hour and a half to win a game that didn't count and then had to play again and lost?
yep, I'm still
That's
counting that as one flawless.
Oh yeah,
in
you
my
have
book.
to. You won.
They should
Yeah,
just
so
go. You should honestly have SDS just go in and give you the banner.
a lot of people were saying, I would care about the banner really
You
anymore.
need it.
I don't anymore. It's like
6 into the
that sounds so weird. It sounds so arrogant, like just like, oh, you don't care about the banner. It's so tough to go 12. And I agree, Gil, but I think it's more the fulfillment of going 12-0 is something. So I don't know.
Well, you
And the first
technically
one's
got
always
that part. You just got
yeah.
hit with
So
the
I got
brick
that
wall of
done, and
servers afterwards.
yeah, I'm a little bit more easy as it goes on, and when I get longer runs now. So,
Yeah,
but
now you got
Jesus,
that flawless. That flawless is in the books.
Yeah, it counts.
yeah, but I'm telling you, but the stamina, man, it is. There's if you get to 6 to 7 wins, there's going to be one of those games where you're going to have no bullpen,
Manager tip.
absolutely no bullpen.
Your pitcher's tired.
Yep,
Yeah,
Alert.
thanks.
Alert. Alert.
Yep.
Alert.
it's just
And
ah,
it's not even just BR Scuffy, it's just 3 inning games in general because the same thing
yeah,
happens in Conquest. I'm
Yep.
sitting there watching the Angel game grinding Conquest on my Switch and my Switch and
My cheech.
and the same thing. I'm trying to like grind out XP with a certain team for the City Connect programs and also grind out AJ Burnett's stuff to work on his. I got to take AJ Burnett after like 15 pitches. It's like, dude, he's a starter with stamina. Why is he so gassed? So I think it's just it's a 3 inning thing in general. I think it just across the board needs to be upped a little bit.
yeah, or just like last year. Last year was perfect. I thought. I'm
You talking about
pretty
just
fine with that.
BR stamina or stamina
Or
in
just
general?
3 inning stamina. Just 3 inning
Okay,
stamina.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, no, because
9
stamina
inning, I
last year
actually
was
think
not perfect.
no. I mean, or 3 inning. That's what I
Okay,
meant.
good.
9 inning is actually I felt pretty good. I played a couple 9 inning games. Stamina felt good to me. I don't know. You
Yeah,
played
as far as right
19
now, I
games, so
haven't noticed a ton, but there's also not like a ton of guys that have like 100 plus stamina at the moment. So we'll see how that
yeah,
changes throughout the year.
yep. So that's just like one of my. I know there's other minor things, but that's like one major grab I have. But that's
Any
because
of you guys know how to play Conquest? Or
oh yeah,
maybe
the
draft a
tutorials.
BR team or draft an event lineup or, just hit the ball in an offline game. Like, any of you guys know how any of that stuff works? I don't think they've given me enough tutorials about how this stuff works, dude, because
Dude, I just wish tutorials would go away after I skip them. Is what all
I,
I all
oh
I
my
want. They
God.
just continue to stay pop.
Yep.
They pop up on my screen all the time.
It's it's a minute thing to complain about, but my God, if
No,
I
it isn't.
love you.
Get it off the
Tips,
screen.
tips. I love you. I love what you've done for the game, but I cannot hear you anymore. Please. Oh my God.
It's funny. I saw some content creators like I wanted to create a conquest tutorial for YouTube, but yeah,
Yeah, you don't need
I'm
to.
not gonna
You're
bother.
good.
Not even gonna bother. But yeah, that's something that should be fixed within the next update, whenever that is. Hopefully that's soon. Because there's a lot of things that like with the freezes. There's other stuff. We saw our boy Clutch build a stadium for 9 hours, and all of a sudden it just went away
Yep.
when he tried to
Oh,
upload it, and he was
crazy.
absolutely crushed, which I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, that would be brutal.
Someone
So
from SES is obligated to rebuild me a stadium at that point. Like, y'all email me when it's ready.
yep. So but yeah, I mean, we'll see what comes with that. Hopefully by next week when we're on the podcast, we already have the update for 1.03, I guess it would be. So is there
Yep.
anything else that's we already went over the Jackie Robinson that'll be coming out. We get headliners set for as well tomorrow. So if you're listening to this, you already know what it is. And we'll talk about that next week. Anything you guys kind of looking for? Pitcher, infielder? I feel like we have too many outfielders, so I'll take either one of those two.
Dude, I'm loving everything that's happening right now. I'm just looking forward to more content. I don't have
Yeah,
any
same.
gripes at the moment.
Yeah,
I'm just
I like
excited
it.
for more stuff.
Well,
Exactly the same.
speaking
Just more stuff. Yeah, that's it.
yeah, and speaking of content, we got something coming up on Saturday.
Ooh.
With pretty much all of us. and this is the first time it is being announced. It's going to be officially announced. So if you're listening now, it's probably not officially announced, but probably on Wednesday or Thursday will be. But this is the first time we're going to be talking about, and that is this Saturday will be the G Fuel Silver Slugger Invitational Tournament. Let me just make sure I got that right. I think I do. Yes, G Fuel Silver Sluggers Invitational Tournament, and it's going to be a pool of 12 players that are going to go at it for the prize of a mini fridge, a G Fuel mini fridge. There's other money prizes as well, but they are going for the big mini fridge. It's kind of weird saying big mini fridge, but you know what I
But
mean.
like, it's
But
the big boy prize, you know.
yes, it's the big boy prize. So we got that. So yeah, there's gonna be 12 players. You two are gonna be part of it. We also got the other G Fuel partners for MLB part of it. We got Tyler, Damian Dimu, we got Ants, we got Swanee, we got DC, Truman, Yayo, the- and then we got No Sleeves, who's been grinding nonstop on MLB. He's from the NHL. You can
Mhm.
say he's making his waves into MLB. And then we got ScoMo as well. Did I miss anyone? I hope I don't miss any. I think I said 12.
So many
And
people, you
I said
probably
Ray
did.
and
And if
Olchev.
anyone that gets their name forgotten, oh
No, it's
well.
Ray
So
and
many
Olchev.
people.
They're gonna have a chip
Yep.
on their shoulder in the first couple games, dude.
Yeah, I know. I got everyone. I got everyone. I will be hosting alongside Quash. Quash is gonna make his little comeback to
Really?
MLB The
Yeah.
Show. So
Love it.
we will be in the booth there. And like I said, this is gonna be a different type of tournament. Do you guys want me to run it through how it works so you guys can hear it?
Yeah, go for it.
I'd love
All
to.
right. So there's going to be 12 players. The first round is going to be pool play for the first 3 games, and this is going to be BR round format. Top 2 advance in both pools. Top 2 teams overall um, that have the most wins plus the biggest run differential get a round to buy. So you want to score as many runs you can get and get as many wins as you get, so you can get that buy. Round 2 will be only live series players, max of 4 diamonds. This is all subject to change, by the way, just fair warning. But right now it's max of 4 diamonds. Might be pushed up a little bit, to be honest with you. 2 position players, 2 pitchers, 5 inning games. So it'd be 1A versus 2B, 2A versus 1B type of thing there. And then the other 2 players being on the bye. Round 3 will be player programs only. So this means Face the Franchise program, starter program, Cities Connect, BR program, World Series program. So you got all those gold flashbacks and legends. You got all the Face the Franchise cards, whatever you like to guys use. Um, might even include the cover players and the legend choice packs, choice cards. So I'll keep in mind for that. But yeah, that'll be for round 3 for the semis. That'll be a 9 inning game, and then the finals was just full on God Squad, pretty much no restrictions of roster. 9 inning game to determine winners. But that's gonna be a lot of fun to look forward to. Um, especially just have all these content creators going at it in different type of ways, different formats, different type of teams. They're going to have to think on the fly on who they want to use, especially through the first 3 rounds, and go from there. But we did want to bring it up because we don't know what the pools are. So I got this hat right here, my Blue Sox hat with names written out, and we are going to pull it right here, right now, and figure out what pool everyone's going to belong to. So, what's the chances you guys match up in the same pool? What do you think?
Probably high. We always have wars when we play each other too, especially if it's live. So it's bound to happen.
You are not allowed to use Bryce Harper. You destroyed
Can I
me
have
with
a
Bryce
DD
Harper.
on my team somewhere at least?
Man, stop it.
Well, one just came out of the hat. All these
Uh-oh.
just came out of the hat.
Oh
Here, let me
no.
do this
Oh
again.
no.
Yeah, let me redo this again.
Server issues.
I never done this before. Yeah, server. Never done this before. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna pull it out. All right, so this is gonna be pool number 1. We got ants. I gotta write this down too. So let me make sure I got this down. We got ants. Actually, I'll do it later. I'll read back. All right, let's see here. We got Truman. Oh boy, Truman might be one of the favorites as well. I don't know. Any of you guys out of the names that we have listed, you don't want to face?
Ray.
Keep Chev as far away from me as possible.
Yep. Don't put me anywhere near Ray.
we got Tyler, Daddy Dimu in this pool. So it's Ants, Truman, and Daddy Dimu so far.
Okay.
And let's see here. And we got DC.
Ooh,
Okay.
That's very interesting.
That's an interesting
because
bracket.
I feel like DC and Tyler are going to be
I just want to watch that matchup.
Yeah.
It's gonna be electric.
That should be interesting. All right, so that's pool number 1. Leave that to the side. Here's pool number 2.
Here comes Coog, Shelfy, bang, bang, back to back.
Bang, bang,
Shelfy, Ray, Ochev. You already know.
We got Yayo.
Yayo's nasty too.
Yeah, I know. Me and Yayo had a crazy playoff series in the Creator League.
We got Ray.
There it is. Here it comes, Cougs. Me and you. Me, Ray, and Yayo.
Chev.
Oh my God.
No, it's me, Chev, Ray, and Yayo. Watch,
No way.
I guarantee it.
This is the AL East of pools right here, dude.
It. This is the SEC.
There you go. Can you see? Oh, you can't even read that. It says you, Shelf.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Oh my God, you poor guy.
Put the JUCO squad in the SEC.
So the last 4 would be ScoMo, Cougs, No Sleeves, and Swanee.
Okay.
Scuff, I'm joining you in the booth in round 2, baby.
Hey, if you get out, I mean, by all means, if you get out early, you more than welcome.
Man, that's a tough bracket, bro. I'm in a bracket with like 3 of probably
that
3 of
right
the top
there
6
is-
on paper are in my bracket.
That pool right there. Yo, Cougs, I'm not gonna say, but you should probably get out of that pool right there.
I hope so. I want that fridge.
Yeah. So that should be a lot of fun, though.
It's a good thing I already have a mini fridge.
Yeah, you made it. I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my life on Saturday.
Fighting for my life. I'm gonna have to beat a stud in every single game all the way through.
Oh
Man.
wow! Yep.
There's no full on cakewalks in this thing, but man, I'm gonna have to sweaty it out from start to finish.
Yep. So, especially, you gotta think the first is BR, like the first round. So you had that pool play, anything can happen with
True,
that.
it's crapshoot gameplay. That's true.
The crazy thing is coming out of pool play, no matter what, Ray and Chev are losing a game because they'll have to play each other. Somebody's losing that game. Like
And
one of them
upset either one of them.
Exactly.
Same review, Shelf.
Yeah,
Come on,
if I throw an upset or 2 at somebody in my bracket, it's gonna mix things up.
Got Vanderbilt versus Bama.
But yeah, that'll be on Saturday. That's actually going to be on the G Fuel's channel. So if you guys want to check it out, it's twitch.tv/G Fuel. And it would be starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then by myself and Quash. And then all of these guys will probably be streaming as well. So be sure to check them out as well, get their perspective on things. And it should be a fun night.
Looking forward to it.
Yep. But yeah, I think that's it for today's episode, though. Shelf, once again, always a pleasure to have you on. Where can everyone find you right now?
YouTube, of course, Shelfy. I got Shelfy, and we got the Shelfy Plays channel as well now because we're streaming on YouTube this season. So we ripped off 2 YouTube channels now you can find me. Just type Shelfy in on the Google search bar.
There you go.
You'll find me.
Sweet. I'm sorry to say that, but it looks like your Phillies about to lose tonight.
I'm happy you just said that out loud, though.
What?
I'm happy you just said that out loud now because the game isn't actually over.
What? It's not over.
Oh, I know it's not, but you just said it might have been.
No, it's going to happen, though. They're going to blow it, and then all of a sudden, I'm going to be like, oh, God damn it, man.
Is Edwin back with the team?
No.
No?
Not until tomorrow.
That opens the door a little bit more. I know he has his moments, but he always shows up against us, I feel like.
Yep.
He had the one moment where he pointed on the Bryce Harper home run. Other than that, I feel like he's lights out against us.
Yep. Oh, how about speaking of pointing up? I know. How about Hunter Green's performance?
Yeah, other than the 2 points, he looked great.
Yeah, he looked great, man. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, I like the early card for him in the game. I mean,
Oh,
he could be the next.
oh yeah, he was a late card in
Yeah, he
21.
was
My
late.
brain still thinks he's in
He
the
was late.
game. He's not. We need a nice
Yeah.
Hunter Green early. You're right.
Yep. Yep. I would love him early. So we'll see. Oh, Coos, we didn't ask. How was open today, bud?
Oh man,
You
it
got
was it
there.
was awesome. I mean, obviously the Angels didn't play well. I mean, they didn't play well, but they only lost by like 2 runs, so it was still a winnable game. So it was just kind of couple unfortunate things. But I mean, just being back in a stadium, having the seats that I had, seeing Otani and Trout and Rendon, everybody back, it was awesome, man. It was just one of those things that you don't take for granted. Baseball is when it's not around, you forget how much you miss it, I guess. And when it's
Mhm.
there, you appreciate it more than you even realize. So it was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah. Especially see Tani. So there
Yeah, it
you
was
go.
great. And he pitched
Shelfie, have
well.
you been? Yeah, you did. Shelfie, you have been in a game yet or
I'm
playing
going
into
to
too?
the Phil's Mets game on Wednesday for Scherzer. Other than that,
Oh,
I went to the Iron Pigs opening day for AAA. That's
oh,
the only
sweet.
game I've been to so far. That was fun. That was my first time going to that park up there.
Now, like going from like a MLB game to a AAA game, is it which were like I don't know. I never been to. I think I only been to
Minor
like
league
one minor
baseball
league games.
varies, man. Minor league
Yeah.
varies, but like the Iron Pig Stadium, though, the AAA stadium for the Phillies, that's like I would say, a really well established minor league
Hmm.
organization. They've been there since like 2006. A lot of the teams bounce around. Like there's a single A team here in Delaware in Wilmington, that's Carolina League ball.
Yeah.
They're the Royals single A team right now. They used to be the Red Sox single A team, so it's switched management since I lived here, but it's kind of like a smaller park. I'd say like the Iron Pigs Park is just like the Wilmington Park here in Delaware, except like holds twice as many people and has like way more like food options inside of it. The Iron Pigs had like a good amount of legitimate food spots in it. It felt like a good minor league stadium, whereas the
Sweet.
single A ball clubs that I've been to feel like the spring training complexes that they are. There's just a little bit less to them.
That's dope.
Yeah, it
That
was
Yeah,
was
I've
fun. It was
never
a
I've
good
never been.
entertainment, and I'll say like hot dogs were $2.30.
Yep.
Like it's like not it's not major league stadium prices. It's like regular go to like a high school or college baseball game prices on the food and drink, which was cool.
Yeah, I've never been to a minor league game. I kind of want to do it.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
is there one near you? I feel like
There's a
one near you.
couple within like an hour or two. So I mean, I have options.
That's reasonable. Yeah, I would
But
definitely make that
yeah,
trip one day if you can plan it out.
yeah.
Yeah. I have nothing near me. I have the Long Island Ducks, which is the Atlantic League, but I
The
don't think I've ever been there.
Ducks.
I've been to Brooklyn Cyclones, I think once or twice, which is nice, but it's a hike for me.
My
Gotcha.
dog's here. Okay. Hi, Rosie.
So yeah.
Hey, nice.
But yeah, perfect timing. Rosie's like, I want another walk here,
It's like,
Coogs.
yeah, let's go. Get
Let's
up.
go. Let's get going.
You
But
said an
yeah,
hour, brother. It's been an hour and 5 minutes.
it's already past that. Yep, yep. All right, fellas. Once again, Shelf, pleasure to have you on today. Like
Always,
I said,
always.
just follow him on all of his socials. Follow my boy Coogs over at Twitter, Coogs46, and you find all the socials there. I'm at Scuffy McGee TV. You'll find our official podcast for Inside the Show on Twitter. It's Inside the Show PC. Once again, Inside the Show PC. We're on YouTube. If you're watching now, be sure to hit thumbs up on Inside the Show on YouTube. And we'll be back here better than ever next week. Appreciate you guys listening to Inside the Show. Peace out.